Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Here I am, it's the on-campus kingpin, yes I am.
Eagle Sessions, Gayle, Saunders, SkinnyClothes.com, talking a huge win over the Detroit Lions, folks. A big win, 34-20, and if you're an Eagle fan and you're watching this game and you didn't say, what a game, what a game, what a game, then you really need to check your pulse, because this was a ridiculous win. One of the best wins of the season. You had to be super geeked. As I was, you must have been running around your living room like I was, screaming out, shady, 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 because it was a phenomenal day for the Eagles, a big team win. Big shout out to Chip Kelly for having this Eagles team fired up and winning their 5th straight game. Some of the things that you like to see from a good team are, teams being able to come back in situations when you think, they're backed up to the wall. Now, looking at this game, you're looking, holy shit, there's a lot of snow. I mean, there's snow everywhere. And in a matter of an hour, I mean, the snow starts coming down. And thankfully, the snow, it knocked out Reggie Bush before the game even started, as he slipped. And I guess he strained something, or a previous injury. But that knocked Reggie Bush out of the game. From the beginning of the game, with the weather and the way it was coming down, you knew that it was going to be rough. I mean, that first pass that Stafford threw, it mustered its way through the snow, and it was coming down. It changed the trajectory of that. He fumbles the snap. You know that the weather is going to have big involvement in this game. Now, the Eagles really didn't do much in their first, 5 series. Mustered up like 15 yards, which is ridiculous, especially for a high-power offense like the Eagles. But, you really got to give hats off to the defense again. These guys are playing so sound and coming up with turnovers, which is huge. Now, the Lions were driving on one of their second series, getting close down to the goal line, or in the red zone. They fumble. Cedric Thornton comes up with a forced fumble, and then Connor Barwin comes up with the ball, which was huge. Now, that was a 10-play drive. Now, the Lions have another 8-play drive. They get close to the goal line again. And in this situation, nobody's kicking field goals, so teams are going for it on 4th down no matter what. And Joique Bell fumbles again. This time it's caused by Brandon Graham. So right there, right off the bat, that's 2 first forced turnovers by our Eagles defense. The defense is setting the tone, and they're not going anywhere. And that was huge. Now, the Eagles weren't doing much with the ball. They give the ball back to the Lions, and they end up scoring. Bell has the touchdown. And then they go for the 2-point conversion, and they make it. So you're looking at the score. It's 8-0. You're thinking that might be all you need to win a game, especially in weather like the weather we had today. And in that first half, you're thinking, what is going on with this offense? I really saw a lot of shady going east and west, and I really didn't like some of the play calling in the beginning half. I really just wanted them to run. There was one, I believe it was the 3rd series in the first half, where Chip Kelly was just passing, especially in the weather that, when it was coming down at that point, was tough. I mean, in this game, there was like 6 inches of snow on the ground, and 8 inches by on the sidelines. In that first half, you had to be sitting there like, what is going on with this team? I'm not sure what's going to happen. The biggest thing for me was the adjustments that were made by Chip Kelly at halftime. Coming out into that second half, you're thinking, they've got to make adjustments in order for them to run the ball. Because that was, at that moment in the game, you thought that's all that the Eagles could do. Right before the half, the Eagles did muster up a nice little drive, but that really didn't amount to anything as it fizzled out. Now, in that first drive in the second half, the Eagles did not do very much with the ball. They did happen to get a first down, but they ended up having to pump the ball. What happens next? The Eagles get a punt. returned on them by Jeremy Ross. There were some bad angles by Colt Anderson and Chris Polk. I thought they had some tackles that if they just played their angles, they might have had to tackle on that. The Lions try to go for another 2-point conversion, but it ends up being 14-0. Now in that ninth series of the game, the Eagles finally put together a drive. They came back with a couple runs, and then they're testing this Lions defense deep. I mean, they threw one up to Riley Cooper, which was huge. He made a nice play on that, and it basically came from Kerry Williams. He told Chip Kelly to say, "Hey, we need to start doing some stick routes, start going deep. Once you make a plant and go, you can get behind the defensive backs." And that was coming from Kerry Williams. He was seeing what he saw out there, and he told Chip Kelly about that. That was huge. I mean, it started to open up things for the Eagles offensively if they could, stretch this defense out a little bit, take some shots, and try to make some plays. Deshaun Jackson ends up making a little sneaky route. Foles said he was either throwing it to Cooper or Deshaun Jackson. He just wanted to throw the ball in that part of the field, hoping that one of his receivers would make a play on the ball, and Deshaun Jackson did. Now, after the Eagles scored a touchdown, the Eagles failed on the 2-point conversion. They make a nice stop on defense. Now they get the ball back, and here's where the Eagles start putting things together. I mean, Riley Cooper catches a nice pass for 25 yards. Fairley comes out with a personal foul, so we get an extra 15 yards on the hit on Foles. And this is where LeSean McCoy breaks this game open, literally. I mean, he has a 40-yard touchdown run north and south, and that's exactly what the Eagles' run game did. So big shout out goes to those offensive linemen because they were blocking their ass off. So big shout out to them. But the game is it's we have an opportunity to tie this game up. Bryce Brown comes in and gets a 2-point conversion run. So that the game's tied up. You're feeling good about yourself. I'm feeling good about myself. And then on the ensuing kickoff to the Lions, Jeremy Ross breaks about a 98-yard kick return back on our Eagles. It was crazy. I mean, score after score after score. This game is finally opening up, but the Lions actually miss on the 2-point conversion, so the game is 20-14 at this moment. Now, this is where the Eagles don't take their foot off the gas. The Eagles just block, an extra point by David Akers. Bradley Fletcher returns it, but you can't return those. But anyway, it got the crowd juiced, got the team juiced. The next drive, you're just hoping that the Eagles have something left in the tank. They hit McCoy with a run. They hit Brad Smith on a screen pass. And it's basically like they're softening this defense up, spreading them open, and they come back with a tiger uppercut in the form of LeSean McCoy. I mean, this guy, he's making guys miss. He's breaking ankles. He's jumping over people. Real photogenic with it. It's almost like he knew the cameras are there. Like, he's making moves, and next thing you know, 57 yards, and LeSean McCoy, touchdown. At this point, you're probably screaming at the television, high-fiving, kissing your wife or your girlfriend, petting the dog. That's what I was doing at my house. And on top of that, the game is 20-20, and the Eagles get the 2-point conversion and hit Riley Cooper on a crossing route. From the first half to the second half, it's two total different games, but the Eagles just woke up, and now they have this game in their control. Now the Eagles get a stop on defense, and the Lions are forced to punt. And at this moment, it's 22-20, and you're thinking, what more can the Eagles offense do? I mean, right now they're on a high right now. So you're hoping that they keep on continuing to run the ball. Now in this series, the Eagles come back with, they come back with a McCoy run, boom, for a first down. They come back with the read option play, keeper with Foles, boom, first down. Bryce Brown comes back, gets a first down. So that's 3 first downs in a row, which was huge. You know, they got the offense moving. They get the ball. They end up getting the ball down by the goal line. They get stopped on a couple of plays. We're looking at a 4th and 1. And who better yet than Nick Foles to dip his 6'6" frame over the goal line for another touchdown. Now the Eagles are up 28-20. And I mean, at this moment, you're in shock because from those first first 6 or 7 drives, we had 0, and now all of a sudden we have 28 points. It's crazy. Just when you thought the Eagles wouldn't kick to Jeremy Ross after he's got around 200 something all-purpose yards already, returning a punt return for a touchdown, a kick return for a touchdown, they kick to him anyway. Jeremy Ross has another beautiful kick return. Lucky for us, we end up stopping him, but they put him in a great field position in order to get a drive to tie this game up. But unfortunately for the Lions, they end up fumbling the ball. Another fumble that they, had. Rioli with another bad snap goes by Matt Stafford's face. He makes this goofy face. I don't know if you guys caught it, but it was pretty funny. And then Michael Kendricks falls on the ball, and that was huge. That was, again, a great opportunity for this defense. Now, at this point, the Eagles get the ball back, and, they break, they're running with LaShawn McCoy, and he's juking guys out. He breaks Steve Van Buren's record. Originally, it was 205 yards. And think about how long that record stood around. I mean, that's crazy. I remember the last time the Eagles had a 200-yard rusher was Deuce Staley back in 2000. But McCoy was running all over the place. And not to be outdone, Chris Polk was like, yo, I've had enough of this. I'm the North and South back on this team. Chris Polk got it done. I mean, Chris Polk with a 38-yard touchdown, representing the University of Washington. He knows how to play in cold weather. So, I mean, at that moment, you're like, I can't believe what is going on. Now, the Eagles come down to a moment where the Lions are going to, come up and stop them and try to get the ball back. And Chip Kelly fakes them out, and they throw the ball to Brent Selleck. And Selleck is rumbling and rumbling. You're thinking he's going to score another touchdown, but he falls down. He pulls Brian Westbrook. You remember that. But, yeah, I mean, especially if you have Nick Foles in your fantasy lineup, you're thinking, why do you fall down, Brent Selleck? I mean, you're a team leader, and you're thinking with your head. I know what you're doing. But Eagle fans, you got to be super excited about your Eagles. I want to know how you feel about your Eagles. I mean, there was just so many bright spots in the game that, it's just one of those games where you're just so excited to finally see something go our way. And you're seeing a lot of heart in our players. Our players are not giving up. The Eagles fans out there, how do you feel? You got to be feeling ecstatic at this moment. Our Eagles are now 8-5, and playing some really sound football. You guys, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say and what you guys saw today and what excites you guys the most about going into the next week against the Minnesota Vikings. But we have something to cheer for in December, folks. But I'm Gayle Saunders, Eagle Sessions, SkinnyPost.com. Living the dream, not as a dream team, but living the dream. And I'll see y'all next week.